So one of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. Wow. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us. And
notice the frame. Not an argument about facts, but about race tallies. She's grieving, but over the wrong things. The House resolution was about condemning political violence, point blank, period. Turning it into race math? That's division disguised as compassion. And CNN, they let it ride, but it only gets worse.
Our communities.
So meanwhile, you obviously feel very strongly about the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk used that you find objectionable, and also from others in the MAGA movement. As the memorial service for him is going to happen later today, there is a debate over heated rhetoric on all sides. And
listen, whether it's heated or not, the fact is Charlie Kirk should still be here. It should not have been that there was political violence that resulted because of the words that were coming out of his mouth, just like plenty of MAGA hates when I mention white supremacy, which kind of...
I don't know. Coming from you right now, like, I can agree. I mean, I can say that we all can agree we're a little bit pissed right now hearing her even just talk like she's somehow moral and above the rhetoric that she's a part of creating.
Political violence that resulted because of the words that were coming out of his mouth, just like plenty of MAGA hates when I mention white supremacy, which kind of tells you where MAGA stands. But nevertheless, they get very upset when I talk about white supremacy. But that doesn't mean that somebody should then try to find a bullet or try to find a knife and harm me. Not in America. That's not who we are supposed to be.
Well, let me ask you, because I do want to play a couple of statements that you made earlier this year.
Okay. Uh-oh. Put on blast.
Unfortunately, we have someone that is occupying the White House, and as far as I'm concerned, he is an enemy to the United States.
They want to show that they are loyal to this, I don't even know what to call him. I've called him so many things, but this wannabe Hitler for sure.
And to be clear, the president has attacked, other people have attacked you in his orbit, maybe not him personally. But do you have a responsibility as an elected official not to raise the temperature, but rather lower the temperature, particularly when there are people out there who listen to elected officials all over the place who are not well, who use that as a way to instigate the political violence that you are calling out?
I think that my responsibility is to be transparent and to be honest. And the reality is that we are living in a time in which this administration and this regime is not interested in making sure that people understand history. We need to understand why they are so problematic. And so I am using that language because it is accurate language. When we see the consolidation of power, when we see them trying to chill speech of jokesters, when we're seeing all of this, that is a playbook out of Hitler, and I won't deny it. Like, these are the facts. But one of the things that I've never done that the president has done consistently is called specifically for violence. He has said, oh, beat that one up. He has said those types of things. We know that Charlie Kirk was saying things about who should live and who should die. I have never said those kinds of things. And
wow, this is what you call intellectually being dishonest. This woman right here is straight lying.
I think that those things are the ones that are really, really dangerous. And even still, some of that will still be protected. We know that we still have laws that are on the book that certain speech is not protected, that it does cross over when you are inciting violence, such as what we saw on January 6th. When you are doing what we consider to be a terroristic threat of some sort, where it's a matter of, I'm not just saying it, but I have the apparent ability to carry that out. But me laying out historical facts, just like they don't want to talk about the fact that slavery was real in this country and that my people were enslaved and dragged and raped and abused, and they don't want to account for any of that. They don't believe in reparations. No, I think it is okay for me to understand history and communicate in a very clear way about why we should feel as if there is a concern. And when we swear an oath, which is what that first clip was, we swear an oath to the Constitution to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And so if there is someone that is evidencing themselves, such as the president, who is going out and says, yes, I will take a $400 million plane from a foreign government, or is engaged in receiving crypto that we cannot track in exchange for, say, giving away chips to Saudi Arabia. No, we absolutely need to understand how these things could cause us harm. Or when he's cozying up to somebody like Vladimir Putin, it's not only a problem for us, but it's a problem for our allies. When you have somebody like Poland that is like, yeah, this is what Russia's up to, and the president is like, oh, that may have just been a mistake. We need to understand what all his business dealings are, even with Russia, because that has the potential of putting us in harm's way.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you so much for being here. Nice to see you. Good to see you, too.
Ooh, I sped it up. It took me too long to speed it up. But ooh. CNN gives Crockett uninterrupted runway to label, insinuate, to smear on the very day of a memorial service for Charlie Kirk. No pushback on specifics. No challenge on claims. If you're going to accuse, bring the receipts, or we will. Because outside that studio echo chamber, reality answered back loudly.
So I ask you, what did the Democrats stand for at this point?
I think chaos, confusion, anger. They're losers. They don't even want to extend the opening. We have a very successful country. If we gave them everything they wanted, they're deranged. If we gave them everything they wanted, they wouldn't extend, in my opinion. They say, oh, they want to meet with me. It's nonsense, but I'll meet with them. But no, they're angry, and they took a big loss, and they're doing worse now than they were during the election. So they're doing very badly. I don't think, actually, I think they stand for chaos. They stand for nothing.
So I ask you, what did the Democrats stand for?
Man, y'all can sit there and be all in your feelings about his tone, but the point lands because of what you're about to see. When leadership calls for unity, their base should model it. Instead, look what some Democrat-aligned protesters did outside the memorial.
Period. She said, oh my God, that was so tough. I can't believe she just said that.
Oh, I fucking won. You know what? Talk to TV.
I can't believe she just said that to that girl. Oh, she right here still.
Hey, just show her your look how proud you are. You got that little girl crying. She's telling that lady she
that was so bad. But that was so bad, though. That was so bad.
That little girl's crying. Look at that girl crying. All right. They don't want to see you yelling.
Oh, that one got braids. That's how they making it great. This is crazy. Crazy work. What the hell? What the helly? Oh, here she go. But I can't walk in this shit. It's feel like they should have had some trash cans.
This is the moral inversion. I don't even want to repeat what was said. Y'all heard it. Inside the memorial, prayer, forgiveness, grace. Outside, wishing on unborn children. Crockett said words, incite violence. Does this rhetoric get any like CNN pushback? Crickets, right? And contempt for faith. That came next.
Charlie Kirk's funeral is shamelessly less funeral and more what I would describe as a Christian nationalist tent revival endorsed by the Trump administration. Just now on live, I watched them do altar call. And if you grew up evangelical Christian, you know exactly what that is. Watch this clip.
While believers are seated, if there's any in this room and across the globe that would desire to receive Jesus as their Savior, as Charlie did as a young man, and now is in the presence of his Savior, I'm going to ask you to put action to your faith. And I'd ask you to stand right now to receive the Lord. Don't be ashamed. The Bible says that when one sinner gives their heart to the Lord, the angels in heaven rejoice. And I got to tell you, there's one up there right now, Charlie Kirk. He's stoked and he's excited.
Immediately after they finished this altar call, they threw up a QR code for Turning Point USA on the big Megatron, just in case anybody needed to be steered in the right direction, you know? The speaker that initiated the altar call beforehand said that Charlie Kirk knew that the pathway to Christianity was with politics, and that he knew that it was a tool to get people to come to Christ. This was an evangelical Christian nationalist event. Every performer, Chris Tomlin, Brandon Lake, Phil Wickham, Carrie Jo Carnes, Cody Carnes, Lee Greenwood, these are all people that are connected to the evangelical Christian movement. All very, very popular Christian contemporary musicians. But more importantly, in attendance to this event, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, Marco Rubio, RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard. Donald Trump is supposed to be making a eulogy, a big speech himself at the funeral. I don't know if he's spoken already, but he's supposed to make a big speech. These are people who are endorsing an organization who explicitly tie politics to Christianity. Look at that. They've got the Turning Point USA logo right there in the corner. On the opposite side of the screen is the Fox News logo. This is a Turning Point USA event. This is not just a funeral for Charlie Kirk. And this is not just a Turning Point USA event. This is a Trump administration endorsed event. Worship songs, altar calls, prayer chains, like all the stuff you would see at a Christian summer camp, tent revival.
Translation. Ordinary Christians worshiping at a memorial somehow equals extremism to the same crowd that preaches tolerance. The left's overtone window treats faith as suspect until they need your vote. That's when everything changes. I don't know what's going on with my skin right now, everybody. I'm over here looking like, ooh, allergies, hair itching, too much. Meanwhile, on elite campuses, the masks keep slipping.
The question is, what did you think of the Charlie Kirk assassination?
That's pretty charged.
Yeah.
It's a very charged. Is there any way we can?
You can say however you feel. I'm trying to get the truth.
Right now?
No, I mean, yes, but I'm not going to show it. I'm not gonna show your answers if you don't want me to.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible to see. I mean, I don't think political violence is ever the answer, but coming from someone who didn't even agree with many or any things he said, I just think no one should ever die.
Yeah. Do you feel the same?
I will say before the assassination, he was definitely someone I did not like, but hearing about it and then actually seeing the video and just someone dying, it's definitely never the answer.
Yeah.
So I'm completely condemning it.
A study I saw, guys, was that 32% of Harvard students believe it's acceptable to use violence to prevent someone from speaking on campus. Does that number surprise you, or what do you think?
We've been here for 2 weeks, but it does not surprise me.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say?
I don't know. I don't think force or violence should ever be used to shut people down from speaking. But
I think it's also, that's a different, obviously, example than political violence isn't shooting.
Sure, but it's violence to stop people from speaking. I was certainly surprised to see 32%, so I wanted to know how students actually felt about it. Why aren't you surprised by it?
I feel like Harvard's a pretty charged camp. I mean, I've been here for 2 weeks.
People just feel really strongly about
people feel strongly, so
and if someone's speaking differently, they'll go to a lot of extents to stop an opposing opinion.
Yeah.
Does it surprise me? That's the problem. If campus culture normalizes violence to silence, you don't get debate. You get escalation. And when escalation turns deadly, the same networks blame the victim's words. Now, let's go through the noise. Let's cut through the noise real quick with someone who doesn't even agree politically yet tells the truth about what happened inside.
I'm not a conservative, but I just left the Charlie Kirk memorial, and here are my thoughts. First of all, let me just say that the memorial was absolutely beautiful. From the moment that you walked in, people were praising, singing about the Lord and about Jesus Christ. And it was so moving and it was so powerful. At times I got choking up and I started tearing up. It was just, it felt, if you could feel the presence of God there. And when I sat down, people started talking to each other. And I told people right there and then, like, I'm not a conservative. I'm a disagreeer on many issues that Charlie talked about. I don't consider myself MAGA, but I really wanted to come. And you want to know what their response was? It wasn't like this immediate backlash or what do you not like or why are you here? It was, that's okay. Thank you for coming anyways. Like, this is really cool that you came. And I thought that was really, really powerful and something that the media doesn't really say about people on the right. And so I really appreciated that. Now, the first few speakers were great. I can't remember all of their names, but they were excellent. I thought Marco Rubio did a great job. Tucker Carlson, amazing. And then, of course, Erica Kirk. I mean, when she said that she forgave the killer of her husband, I think everyone had tears running down their face. It was a beautiful moment. But some things I didn't really like and I wish were different was a few of the speakers. So Stephen Miller gave a speech where he said that the left were evil, and I didn't really appreciate that. I don't think it was appropriate. I thought it was too aggressive, and as somebody there that I don't consider myself a part of the MAGA movement, I just thought that was really distasteful and not something that Charlie would have wanted or even said. Donald Trump Jr. started talking about God, which I thought was pretty disingenuous since he never talked about it before. And then Trump's speech was a campaign speech. It wasn't even about Charlie, really. And my only other thought is that I really wish they would have brought somebody from the left who knew Charlie, disagreed with him, but could talk about his character. I think that would have been really powerful and a beautiful moment for our nation. But overall, it was a beautiful service. I am so happy I went and participated in this historic event. And even though I don't agree with all of the topics, and I don't consider myself a conservative or MAGA movement, I really did appreciate the acceptance and the overall vibe of people there.
This is the part Democrats at CNN don't want looped. Someone outside the movement felt welcome. That's what grace looks like. No talking points, just lived experience. And while CNN platformed Crockett, Don Lemon boosted a pastor who smeared the dead. Here's why that narrative collapsed, and I have a little net fly up in here right now, and it's pissing me off. I'm going to catch it. It's annoying. Anywho.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. But I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half-staff calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. And hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live. I am overwhelmed.
Imagine hearing a widow forgive her husband's killer, then watching media personalities uplift the sermon that spits on a man's memory. That's not holding power accountable. That's cruelty masquerading as virtue. So after all the spin, what's the scoreboard? CNN gave Democrats Jasmine Crockett a lane, but the receipts from the memorial, faith, forgiveness, and unity across differences humiliate that storyline. If you can't condemn political violence without racial head counts, you're not seeking the truth. You're managing a narrative. If you made it to the end of the video, put grace in the comments today, because that's exactly what Erica showed. Be safe. Please go check on a friend today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.